Sampurita pamita paramita balena Vindvansiyo khila kilesa Samola jalam Cheneva landa araham Arahoti namang Vandami buddha mamalam Hadaye tapentva Samanta cakkavalesu atra gaccantu devatam Sandhammang munirajassa sunanto sagga mokkadam Dhammasavana kalo ayam badanta Dhammasavana kalo ayam badanta Dhammasavana kalo ayam badanta Namo tansa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tansa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tansa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Anapanasati yassa paripunna subhavita Anupumbang paricita yata buddhena desita Soimang lokan pabhaseti Ambhamutto vachandima Dear Dhamma friends, now we are going to start our weekly Dhamma class. Today I am going to explain one of the meditation techniques in Buddhism, one of the major meditation techniques in Buddhism, breathing meditation, Anapanasati bhavana. In Buddhism, it is always emphasized the importance of practicing breathing meditation. You know, all Buddhas who appeared in the world, they have attained enlightenment by practicing breathing meditation. Most Arhantas, enlightened persons, also have practiced breathing meditation when they attain enlightenment. Therefore, this technique is very important. You know, according to Buddhism, there are 40 meditation techniques. 40 meditation techniques in Buddhism. According to our characters, according to our interest in, we can practice one or several meditation techniques. You know, according to Buddhism, every Buddhist teachings focus on getting rid of suffering. Buddha wanted to show the path how we get rid of suffering. The main reason whether we are happy or not is our mind. If we can keep our mind with mindfulness and wisdom, we can overcome suffering. If we suffer, if we sad, if we worry, at that moment be sure that we have no mindfulness. If we have mindfulness and also if we have wisdom, at that moment we have overcome suffering. When do we worry? When defilements are in our mind, such as anger, big attachment, and delusion, these are the main defilements, negative feelings in our mind, which disturb our peace of mind. Whenever we worry, we are sad, we are unsatisfied, at that moment we have desire, anger or delusion or ignorance. That is why we suffer. Buddha always explain the way how we get rid of suffering. As much as we can overcome these defilements, anger, big attachment and ignorance, little by little, if we can overcome these defilements, negative feelings in our mind, we are able to overcome suffering. Okay, there are a lot of discourses in Buddhism, and also there are a lot of doctrines that Buddha has explained. Among them, we have practiced only 3 things. Don't worry that we have practiced a lot of things. We have practiced only 3. What they are? We have, according to Buddhism, if a person wishes to overcome suffering, he or she has to complete only 3 things. Yes?
Do no harm. Don't do any harm.
Yes. Yes, that.
Do
good and purify mind. Yes, that is also correct. But when we go to deep level, we have practiced only 3. They are virtue, tranquility, and wisdom. Virtue, tranquility or concentration, and wisdom. Among these 3 things, Buddha says, finally, we have practiced only 1. Only wisdom. If we can practice wisdom, then we have other all qualities. And as soon as the Buddha meets a person, suddenly he reads that person's mind. Whether how long that person has practiced, developed his mind, how far he has developed his wisdom in the samsaric journey. On the other hand, Buddha mentions 4 qualities that a person has. That is our real dowry, real property, which we bring from birth to birth. They are devotion or saddha, virya, energy, sati, mindfulness, samadhi, tranquility, panya, wisdom. These 5 things we develop from birth to birth until the enlightenment. Our success, our happiness, our skillfulness, our proficiency completely depends on how far we have practiced these 5 things in the samsaric journey. They are saddha or devotion or faith or confidence in Triple Gem, virya, energy, or strength. What kind of energy? Energy means how we are ready to overcome evil and how far we are ready to do good. Saddha Viriya. Sati, mindfulness. Samadhi, tranquility or concentration. And wisdom, Panya. These 5 things again included into 2, mindfulness and wisdom. Finally, Buddha says, if you practice only one, that wisdom, then your all qualities gradually develop, grow up, increase. For that, according to Buddhism, actually we should have clear knowledge. Every day in this class we discuss how we develop our knowledge. Knowledge is very important. Knowledge is like like wealth. The educators also have described the importance of knowledge. What you learn, what you earn. More learn, more earn. In Buddhism, it is said, it is correct. If you know more things, then you can practice qualities in various ways as much as you have knowledge. What kind of knowledge that Buddhism says? Knowledge about our life, our body and mind. What happens to our body and mind? We mostly search outside. But according to Buddhism, if we can understand ourselves, our body and mind, then we can understand the entire world, whole world. In Buddha's period, there was a divine person. His name was Rohitatsa. Before he became a divine person, he was a human being. In the human world, he developed his mind, tranquility in the maximum level. He received some kind of psychic energies. He could go in the sky by using psychic energy. He went from planets to planets. He wanted to see the destination of the world, the end of the world, by using psychic energy. He went to planets to planets, but he couldn't go to the end of the universe. While he was going here and there in the universe, he ended his age, his life. He died, he passed away. And because of his mind concentration, he could become a divine person. After that, after he was born in the heavenly realm, he again started to go to the end of the universe. By using his divine energy, he went not from planet to planet, from solar system to system. He tried to go to end of the universe. While he was going here and there, Buddha met him. And Buddha said, you can never go to the destination of the universe by using your physical body. On the other hand, not to go in end of the universe, you can never end the suffering. You can never go to the end of the universe by using your physical body. On the other hand, if you don't go to the end of the universe, end of the world, you can never reach the bliss of liberation, enlightenment. Then he asked, how I go to the end of the world? Buddha explained, how he has to practice to get rid of suffering and achieve enlightenment. 3 disciplines are described. Then, if somebody can understand the world, his mind and body, he can understand entire world, whole world. But never we can go to the end of the universe by using our physical body. It is a path of mental path, not a physical path. And therefore, knowledge is very important. Not only knowledge, according to knowledge, we have to reflect on it again and again in our day-to-day life. You know, Buddha said, when you listening to this message, Buddha's doctrines, at that moment, if you have good attention, actually it is also like a meditation. Without meditation, there is no listening to Dhamma. Therefore, Buddha explained, listening to Dhamma also is a place where we achieve enlightenment. Therefore, in this moment, it is very important. We are discussing what happens to our life, what happens to our mind and body. Okay? Now, I hope to explain my the doctrine that I am going to explain here, breathing meditation. Buddha explained in this Sutta. Sutta means discourse in Majjhima Nikaya, Anapanasati Sutta. Anapana means breathing in and out. This is one of the major meditation techniques in Buddhism. Breathing in and out. Other meditation techniques, usually we use some kind of idea. But here, we don't generate some kind of ideas. We keep our full attention in the present moment. You know, every meditation technique focuses on how we keep our attention in the present moment. The nature of our mind is going here and there. Our mind mostly goes to past or future. Our mind mostly in the past experience. We mostly live in the past. Sometimes we live in the future. You know, we have lost the beauty of living in the present moment. If we don't practice mindfulness, it means we don't practice the real happiness. Our real happiness depends on how far we are clever to keep our attention in the present moment. It doesn't sound that we forget our past or future. We have a good memory. We have good planning for future. But we are clever to keep our clear attention in the present moment. By practicing breathing meditation, especially we try to keep our attention in the present moment. When we think, when we consider our breathing in and out, we live in the present moment. Buddha says, if you practice only that breathing meditation, then automatically there are 4 things develops. When those 4 things develop, the other 7 factors increase. When these 7 factors increase, the other both doctrines gradually develop, are realized. In this discourse, Anapanasati, the discourse of Anapanasati Sutta says that when you practice breathing in and out, there are 16 steps. 16 steps in breathing meditation. All of them are here. You can read it. When someone practices these 16 steps of breathing, then 4 qualities increase, develops, grow up. When those 4 qualities grow up, the other 7 factors grow up, develop. When these 7 factors develop, the other both qualities gradually develop. Buddha says, when you practice one, then 4 things develops. When those 4 things develop, there are other 7 factors grow up. Then when these 7 factors grow up, other both things grow up. This is the summary of this sutta, Anapanasati Sutta. But we should have clear knowledge at the very beginning of this path. Buddha says always, when we practice something, at the very beginning we should have clear knowledge. When you go to a place, wherever you never gone, first you should have a map or clear knowledge where you go, where you drive to. Like that. This spiritual path also like that. What is our final destination? What is the nature of the final destination? Enlightenment or liberation, freedom or nibbana, arhanship. There are many names in Buddhism. What is the nature of the enlightenment? Liberation from all kind of suffering. How we know the nature of the liberation of all kind of sufferings? Then if we can live in the present moment with full attention, full mindfulness, seeing impermanence, arising and ceasing. Now, although we remember, although we reflect on impermanence, we mostly live in the world. But Buddha explained how we overcome the world, how we are in the world, how we can overcome the world, how we see that we are in the world. When you see something, when you hear something, when you smell something, if you think before you have this experience that it was here, it was in the world, and also if you think that after experience it remains, be sure you are in the world. You are ready to come back to the world. If you have done good deeds, you will have a good life, like a human realm or divine realm. But you are in the world. How we know that we are overcome the world? If we have clear understanding and reflection that before we see something, before we hear something, it was not here. After experience, it doesn't remain. The world arises when we see something, when we hear something, when we smell something. This is the way how world arises. This is the ultimate truth. But be sure, we have to live in the world who believe the conventional truth. After this experience, we don't go away from the world. We live in the common world. We live with the common people, ordinary people. But we have higher knowledge. You know, for example, when you see a mirage, you know very well it is no water. There is no water. But you know there are some innocent animals like deers. They think that there is water, that is why they run. The picture is same for them and for us. But we are intelligent. We have knowledge. It is not the clear water. But that innocent animals like deer, they run. They run to the mirage. This is also like our experience. When we have this experience, we can see the world like other people. We can laugh with them. We can enjoy with them. We are with together. But we have a higher knowledge. Buddhism says it like when a person who is in the summit of a hill, if a person see down from the summit of the hill, and he can see the world because he is upper level. We are also like that. If we have this knowledge and understanding and experience, then we can see the world who suffer because of no this understanding. The people mostly live in the past or future. If a person can keep his mind in the present moment with mindfulness, seeing impermanence, then we can overcome suffering. Little by little, day by day, we should try to train our mind living in the present moment. The breathing meditation technique is very important in this practice. When we practice only think that breathing meditation, then gradually 4 things increase. 4 things develop. What are the 4 things? What are the 4 things that increase when we practice breathing meditation? When we practice breathing and out again and again, then we can realize what happens to our mind and body. What are the 4 things for mindfulness? 4-fold mindfulness. The contemplation of body, the contemplation of feelings, the contemplation of consciousness or mind, the contemplation of mental formation. These 4 things can be divided into 2. Mind and body. First one is body, other 3 are mind. Yes.
So, sorry, I just had a question about the pasana. So, is that a verb? Pasana means contemplation?
Anupassana. Anupassana. Passana means seeing. Actually, it is present tense. Passana, seeing, like seeing. Reflecting. Reflecting. It is a verb, but it is like ing form, like gerund.
Oh, that's right. Pasati is to see.
Passati is the verb present tense. Passana means like seeing. Ing with ing form.
Okay.
Present tense.
Yeah.
See, saw, seen, seen. See. S-E-E-N and S-E-E-I-N-G. Yes. And these days he learns Buddha's language. Yeah. He learns Pali these days. He are interested in learning Pali. Last days he was taking a class, Pali class. He wants to come. He is an English professor in Cal State, Mr. David. He will help me to improve my English knowledge too. We are going to discuss about language, Pali and English too. Very recently we will meet. Okay. And Anupassana means we have clear knowledge what happens to our body. This physical body always changes, and also when we reflect on our physical body, we can understand not only physical body that we have, behind our physical body we have mind. Without mind we have no life. We don't have a life without mind. After a person died, still we can see the physical body. But if we can analyze a person as mind and body, actually we can overcome the big attachment. We have mostly big attachment or anger because we think the only thing that person has the body. We have forgotten the mind. That is why when a person has a mistake, we are going to hit, we are going to blame. Actually, if we have a knowledge that person is not only his body, but he has a mind. Mind plays a very big role. Body is a very few things. The main reason whether a person good or bad is his mental condition, mental position. When we meet a person, when we see a person, if a person is very beautiful, we know very well his mind is beautiful, that is why he is here. If person has good character, we respect not only his physical body, we respect his mind. Because his mind, he or she has a good discipline. If you have this knowledge, if you have this understanding, we don't give the credit for the physical body. And also we can overcome big attachment and anger by practicing fourfold mindfulness. We are going to understand what happens to our body and mind. According to Buddhism, in the path of liberation, we have to understand when we see a person. As soon as we see a person, if we are able to understand this is not only physical body, this includes mind and body. As soon as when we see a person, if we have this understanding, be sure we have overcome more than 40% defilements about a person. Day by day, we have to develop this understanding. That is very important. Especially by practicing fourfold mindfulness, we are going to divide. We are going to divide a person as mind and body. As soon as when you see a person, if you have an ability to understand this is the process of mind and body, you are clear. Then you have no more defilements, negative feelings, cravings, or lust or lamentation. And here, fourfold mindfulness is very important. For that, first of all, we should have knowledge. As I mentioned before, we should have clear knowledge about the destination, the nature of the destination, the qualities of the destination. If a person has overcome suffering, if a person has eradicated his defilements in his mind, it means that person is live in the present moment. And also he sees the world reality, that is impermanence. Then seeing the destination, seeing the final result, final goal, we practice all of them. The first one is the contemplation of body. When we reflect on our body again and again, we understand that this body is alone, and also this has no soul, It is egolessness, selflessness, and this is created by the mind. When mind goes away, the body is like a dead branch. Yes?
So, question. So, I mean, the idea, like I grew up, I was raised in the Christian religion, the Christian tradition, and they emphasize the idea of the soul. That everyone has a soul, but I know, in Buddhism, there's no belief in a soul. But what about spirit? I mean, is the spirit the same as the consciousness then, the mind?
Yes, mind, every religion has explained this thing. Soul, mind, spirit, ghost. There are many names about the soul. But in Buddhism, we also believe there is a mind. But Buddhism doesn't say it is certain. Actually, it is impermanent. Every moment it changes. It doesn't go from moment to moment. This moment, the mind arises when conditions are together. Suddenly, it ceases in this moment, but it has some kind of cause to next idea, next mind. It has some kind of balapama effect. It has some kind of effect to next mind. Soul means most of religions have explained the soul which is certain, which goes from birth to birth. But Buddhism believes the rebirth, reincarnation. But Buddhism believes that a mind which goes from moment to moment. We have a rebirth, but it is a new person, and also it is not another person, and also it is not the same person. Buddhism says is nachaso nacha Nachaso means it is not the same person. Your next birth and this birth, when we compare, this is not the same person. If it is the same person, it is a big challenge about the impermanence of Buddhism. It is a misconception that is Buddhism says is sassata ditti, which goes continuously. It is extreme. It is a misconception. On the other hand, Buddhism doesn't say that you are a completely new person. It is also wrong. If we believe it, Buddhism says it is also an extreme that nastikavada, uchchedavada. It means no reason, no cause and effect. Buddhism explains everything on dependent origination, cause and effect. When causes are here, we can see some kind of result. When causes cease, the condition and the result cease. Then, Christianity, as I know, that they believe that the certain soul which goes from birth to birth. Buddhism explains, Buddhism accept. Buddhism accepts rebirth, birth again and again. But Buddhism doesn't say that there is a certain thing which goes from birth to birth. That is why Buddhism says no egolessness. If something is ego or self, it should be certain. But Buddhism says very clearly, we have nothing to catch as certain. Because every moment, our mind changes, our physical body changes, our experience changes, everything changes. not only changing, but the experience arises according to conditions. When conditions are available, we can see some kind of experience. When conditions are separated, when conditions go away, the experience also ceases. Soul or spirit, in Hinduism, they say there is a certain soul or spirit. They also believe the karmic law. Hindus also believe that reincarnation, rebirth. But their karmic law and rebirth and Buddhist rebirth and karmic law is different. Because they believe that there is a certain thing, certain mind or certain spirit or certain ghost or certain soul inside. But Buddhism never says that there is a certain mind, spirit or soul. That is the difference.
If there is certainty, then you can enlighten, right? Because it can end.
Yes, please say again.
So, if it's permanent, then enlightenment is impossible.
Yes, that is also. On the other hand, Buddha says, if there is anything which is certain, I never explain a path of liberation. If there is a certain thing, we should have an ability to control. One day, a Brahman came to Buddha and asked him, "Dear Reverend Sir, I believe there is a certain soul." Buddha asked, "If there is a certain thing, you should have some kind of control because of your certain soul. Why you are old age?" The person who asked that he was 80 years old. Now he is so weak. Buddha asked him, "If you have a certain soul, why you are on the old age? You might have control your age if you have some kind of certain thing." The nature of the certain soul thing that it should have something, some control in his life, because it is certain. But the thing is, this spirit or mind or soul is impermanent. We can control. If you have a certain soul, we never go to the old age. We never go to the cemetery. We never go to the hospital. We can overcome them. We can avoid them because of certain soul. Because of impermanence, we can control it. That is the thing that Buddha explained, which is egolessness, selflessness. On the other hand, as you mentioned, because of no certain soul, we can achieve enlightenment. That is the thing. If it is certain, we can never reach enlightenment, because if we have some kind of mental position, it is certain forever. But because of impermanence, we can go to the end of the suffering. We can go to the end of the sankharic journey. That is the thing. Mr. David, I don't know you have... Okay. Yes, thank you. Then these are the contemplation of body, and we try to understand our body by practicing Kayanupassana or contemplation of body, and Vedananupassana, contemplation of feelings. The first thing is Kayanupassana means our body is the result of food. If we didn't take food, We have no this kind of physical body. Our body is the projection of food. We have eaten rice, curry, bread, a lot of things. We are the result of food. And as soon as we see a person, we have this understanding. This body is the result of a lot of rice, curry and bread. But not only the things, but it grows according to our mental condition. Although we lived in the same house, same home, our mom prepared something and she shared everything for everybody in the house. Sometimes we have some pets, cat or dog. They also ate the same thing what we ate, but their body is different. Our body is different. What is the reason of this difference? The mind. Because of mind, where we were born, where our mind comes to our mother's womb, according to our mental conditions, although the food is same, our body is different according to our mental condition. Then by practicing Anapanasati, we have this knowledge, and gradually we are going away from the misconcept of soul or ego. And also Anapanasati, Vedana means we have 6 feelings that we receive through our eyes, through our nose, through our ears. These are the places where we get some feelings. When we see something, it is eye feelings. When we hear something, it is ear feelings. There are 6 feelings that we receive through 6 senses. That is the result of sparsa. That is the result of attachment. When our eyes and forms are together, then we have some kind of experience about forms. Then that is also impermanent. The experience when we see something, there are several conditions, like our eyes, the form, our attention. When all of them are together, we have some kind of feelings through our eyes. It may be negative, it may be good feelings, it may be neutral feelings. However, this experience has no soul. It is also an experience that we receive in this moment. It is also present. It is also impermanent. Then by practicing Anapanasati, by practicing the contemplation of feelings, we have this knowledge. And mind, contemplation of consciousness of mind. Then we are going to understand what happens to our mind. Our mind also arises this moment. It has no place where mind is living. Mind lives in our entire body. But it has no place, no visible place. Mind has no visible place because it arises at the moment when conditions are together. For example, can you see a flight? Do you know flight? When you fly in the airplane, can you see the flight? What is the flight? What is the flight? It's the airplane.
You're talking about the plane going through the air,
Yes.
but you're in the plane.
I ask you that. Can you see the flight? You can see the plane. You can see the air surface. You can see the seat. You can see the person who drives. But we can see the flight. Flight happens. Although you are inside, nobody brings the airplane. You have no flight. Then what is the flight? Flight means the journey when all things are together. When some person bring the plane, when servants are there, when you have food, when plane goes, although everything is there, if the plane has no gas, do you have a flight?
No.
You have no flight. If that plane has no place to land, do you have a flight? You have no flight. We can't see the flight. We are unable to see the flight. We can see the airplane. We can see the food. We can see the air ticket. We can see the servants. But we can't see the flight. Our mind also like that. We can see the physical body. We can see the pictures. We can hear the sounds. But we can't see the mind. But there is a mind. Because of mind we have this experience. Without mind we have no experience. Without sight you can go to any place. But we can't see the flight. We can't see the airplane. We can see the servant. We can see the air tickets. We can see the place where it is landed. But we can't see the flight. Our mind also like that. Then by practicing the contemplation of mind, we are going to understand what happens to my mind. The mind happens in the moment, at the moment, according to conditions, according to what we get through our senses. We have 6 senses. Through these 6 senses, we have get some kind of experience. One sense works at once. We have 6 senses, but these 6 senses don't work together at once. Once we have only one sense because it is very fast. We may think that I have all experience at once, but be sure we have only one experience at once. When we see something, it is eye consciousness, that is only our life. When we hear something, ear consciousness, that is only at once. Then suddenly it goes, it is very fast. You know, there are 6 lights, 6 lights here. One is flash, again it off, again and again. These 6 are very fast. Then when those lights flash and off very fast, you may think that all of them are flashing. But every moment, yes, it flashes and off. Our life also like that. It is because it is very fast. We think our 6 senses work at once, but we have only one sense at once, through one sense. Then if we can understand this situation, actually gradually we can overcome big attachment. If we are ready to overcome big attachment, the anger or ill will gradually decreases. And contemplation of mental formations. Mind and mental formations are different. You know, like water and tea or coffee. like water. Water is mind. Tea or poison or coffee or what you add is like mental formation. Water is naturally pure. Whether it is good or bad depends on what you put it. Mind is pure. Because, defilements or mental formation come to our mind, it may be pure or valuable or unvaluable, it depends. Then, by practicing what Buddha said, we try to reduce negative mental formations, and also first we try to develop good energies, good mental formations. And finally, at the end of the destination, we don't have good or bad mental formations. We are middle, we are equanimity. Because as soon as we see something, we know very well this experience arises this moment, then we have nothing to catch after experience. Now we have something after experience. If we have something after experience, that is the result how we go to the next birth. It doesn't sound that you have to forget. Buddhism never says you have to forget. If you forget something, it is a big mistake in your life. When we practice mindfulness again and again, does our memory grow or slow down? Our memory grows as much as we practice mindfulness. But, after experience, we don't catch anything. We know very well, after experience, it doesn't remain. We can think it again. We can remind it. Memory or remind is not the fault. The fault is that when we think something after experience, if we think still it is happening, that is the fault. That is the reason of suffering. When you came here, if your children were misbehaving, you may think that still they are doing the same thing. But now they have finished that wrong thing. Now they are good children. Now they are doing homework. But still you are thinking that they are playing or they are misbehaving. That is the cause of suffering. If we can overcome this misconcept, then we are ready to overcome suffering. It is very difficult to mention at the very beginning, but by practicing little by little, meditation and mindfulness and wisdom, we are going to the upper level with this higher understanding. Okay. And when you practice breathing meditation, actually we practice gradually these four things increase. We don't have an effort that we should practice these four things. We should do only practicing breathing meditation according to Buddha said, according to what Buddha taught. There are 16 steps, little by little. When we breathe in short, we know very well, now I breathe in short. When we breathe in long, we know very well, now I breathe in low. Little by little, there are 16 steps in this breathing meditation. And when these four things increase, other 7 factors grow up. These are the 7 enlightenment factors. In Buddha's language, in Pali, it says Satta Bojjhanga, Satta means 7. Bojjhanga means the factors to achieve enlightenment. These are the essential qualities that we should practice on the path of liberation, on the path of purification, on the path of enlightenment. What they are? Sati Sambojjhanga. Sati means again we meet mindfulness. And Dhamma Vijaya Sambojjhanga, keen investigation. As much as we have mindfulness, we have very investigation what Dhamma is. You are very sensitive, like you people. Little by little, you develop mindfulness. You want to understand what the message, what Buddha said. Again and again, we develop our knowledge. And we are ready to listen to this message again and again. That is keen investigation, Dhamma Vijaya Sambojjhanga. Virya Sambojjhanga, Virya means energy or strength. What is the energy that we should develop? The energy not to do evil and to do good, practice good. Again and again, every day we try to overcome some negative deeds in our life, and also little by little we try to develop our good deeds, what we do already. Sati, Dhamma Vijaya, Virya, Piti. Piti means pleasure. When we go on this path, our happiness gradually increases, develops. When we see the results, we are so happy. In our day-to-day life, when our defilements go away, then our mind is very pure and calm. Then we are so happy. We have lost our happiness because of defilements or negative feelings in our mind. Then gradually, when we reduce our negative feelings, negative deeds, negative ideas in our mind, then gradually we purify our mind from negative ideas. Then we are happy. Buddha says happiness should be developed by a person who wishes to achieve enlightenment. If a person always worries, be sure that person can't achieve enlightenment. Pleasure, happiness should be developed as a quality of the path of liberation. That is why, in Buddha's period, there were some other religious leaders. They said, our disciples in our dispensations, their complexion is not good. But your disciples, they said to Buddha that your disciples are so pleasant. Their complexion, they have good complexion. Although the Lord Buddha, although you explain very deep concepts like impermanence, like no soul, like egolessness, like suffering, but your disciples are so pleasant. They have good complexion. What is the reason? Buddha said, happiness, pleasure should be developed as a quality of the path of liberation. That is why Buddha said on the discourse of mindfulness, Vinaya loke abhijja domanassam. At the very beginning of the path of purification, you have to remove both things. Abhijja means greed. You have to overcome greed at the very beginning of the path. Greed, big attachment, big desire, greed. And also domanassa. You have to avoid, you have to overcome unpleasant in pleasure. If you worry it means you are not on the path of liberation. Then be happy. That happiness related to righteous way. You know, there are some people are happy who are using some drinks or some misbehavior. They are also happy. It is not the real happiness, real pleasure. The pleasure that Buddhism says is without desire, without anger, without delusion. That is the real pleasure that brings us real happiness. Then pleasure also a quality that we should develop on the path of liberation as an enlightenment factor. And also calmness, passaddhi. When our mind is very pure and calm, when our mind is happy, it affects to our body too. Then our body is very relaxed. Now our body is so straight, our body is so tight, our body is so heavy. What is the weight of our body? The weight of defilements, the weight of big attachment and anger. That is the weight of our life. Then little by little, when we receive this knowledge, the weight grows up, going down. Then our body is going to be calm. And tranquility means samadhi or concentration. Then little by little, when we practice mindfulness, our concentration, our tranquility grows up. Then we are able to keep our mind for a long time with a particular object, wholesome object, such as breathing, loving kindness. These are the objects that we use for meditation to keep our mind in the present moment by practicing mindfulness. Then little by little, when we practice mindfulness, as the result of mindfulness, we will have a result that concentrated mind. We are clever to keep our mind for a long time with a particular object, with the same mind. Then we don't give a chance to our mind to go here and there. We have trained our mind using meditation technique. Then we can control others. We can control hundreds of people outside. But Buddha said, army commander can kill or control hundreds of people in the battlefield. It is not difficult. The difficult thing in the world is controlling your own mind. Mind always goes to the past or future. Don't give a chance to go to past or future. It doesn't sound, you don't mention your past or future. We can think our past or future, but we have an ability to understand. We should have good attention. Now I think about my past. Now I plan my future, not in the present moment. But if we can keep our mind in the present moment, then it means, it sounds that defilements have no chance to come to our mind and disturb our peace of mind. If any time, if we are sad, if defilements can disturb our peace of mind, it means we have no mindfulness. We live in past or future. If we live in the present moment with mindfulness completely, with seeing impermanence, then we have no defilements. We are not in the circle of the world. We have overcome the circle of the world. When we are in the circle of the world, it means we have to be suffering. We have suffering. If we are clever to overcome the circle, then we are living in the present moment with mindfulness and we see the impermanence. And finally, tranquility, we don't go to the extremes, pleasure or unpleasure. then in the middle. Our beauty of life depends on how far we are clever to keep our mind in the middle as tranquility. Then, whether we have good or bad feelings from outside, we are in the middle. Nobody can disturb our peace of mind, doing help or disturbing. Among both of them, good and bad, positive and negative, we are in the middle. Then this is the sign of the destination. By the practicing of breathing meditation, we develop 4 contemplations. And when these 4 contemplations grow up, the other 7 enlightenment factors grow up. Then, as the result of growing up these 7 enlightenment factors, we achieve the other result. Vijja Vimukti. Vijja means knowledge, Vimukti means liberation. Although we are living in a liberate country, actually until we have this experience, we have no real liberation. Our real liberation depends on how far we are clever to live in the present moment, seeing impermanence. If we catch something after experience as certain, we have no liberation. After experience, if we have finished the experience, that is the liberation. Now, after experience, we have caught something, we have held something, we have held something. That is the cause of suffering. That is the reason of suffering. Little by little, by practicing this path, we are going to overcome suffering. When we practice breathing meditation, as Buddha mentioned, then we develop 4 contemplations. When these 4 contemplations develop, other 7 factors grow up. Then as the result of growing up these 7 enlightenment factors, we become the real knowledge and liberation. Knowledge means we have the real understanding about the impermanence, about the dependent origination, Paticca Samuppada in Buddhism. Actually, Paticca Samuppada, the dependent origination or cause and effect, is the heart of Buddhism. That is the heart of Buddhism. What is the nature of the dependent origination? It means when the conditions are together, we have experience. After experience, it ceases. Nothing remains in anything. When conditions are together, asmin sati idam hoti. When conditions are together, there is something. Asmin asati idam no hoti. When there are no conditions, there is nothing. This is the nature of dependent origination. Buddhism has explained all kind of doctrines such as rebirth, karmic law, dependent, non-dependent origination. Okay? In this path, on this path, knowledge is very important, and also, as I mentioned before, be sure that day by day try to develop loving kindness. That is very important. If you don't practice loving kindness, according to Buddhism, you are not on the path of liberation. You are not path on the purification. The first step of the path of liberation is practicing loving kindness. Try to practice at least 5 minutes per day. That may all beings be well, happy and peaceful. Try to increase it day by day. 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes, day by day. If we can improve it it is not only a sitting meditation. We can use loving kindness meditation in 4 postures: standing, sitting, lying down, walking. In 4 postures, we can use it as much as if we practice loving kindness, we purify our mind. The main barrier which disturbs our peace of mind is anger. We fight anger by practicing loving kindness. That is the first enemy that we meet on the path of liberation. First enemy who meets us on the path of liberation is anger. Then we fight with anger by using loving kind meditation. Okay, if you have any question, you can ask. We talk more than 1 hour. We have a new classmate today class. She has come from Seattle. Actually, she came to see the temple. When he came to the temple, we invited him to come to the class. She is interested in learning Buddhism and practicing Buddhism. Okay, we appreciate your participation. Thank you for your coming. Okay. Okay, now I wish all of you try to take this handout after you go home and try to develop your knowledge. Okay, now the time at the end of all meritorious act, we usually transfer the merits to our beloved departed relatives. Now the time to transfer the merits to our departed relatives. Okay, now you think your departed relatives who passed away, and by the power of all these merits that we accumulated in this moment, may our departed relatives achieve good life, and finally may they attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, transfer these merits to our beloved departed relatives. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. By the power of all these merits that we did in this moment, may guardian deities and angels also receive these merits. By receiving these merits, may they keep their eye on you too. May they protect you. May they also attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to guardian deities and angels too. Ettavata ca amhehi sambhataṃ puñña sampadam Sambe deva anumodanto samba sampatti sindhya. Ettavata ca amhehi sambhataṃ puñña sampadam Sambe deva anumodanto samba sampatti sindhya. Ettavata ca ammehi sambhataṃ puñña sampadam Sambe deva anumodanto samba sampatti sindhya. By the power of all these merits that we did in this moment, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no problems come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May your all success meet with success, and finally may all of us attain final bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkham pantā ca nindukkha, bhayam pantā ca ninbhaya, sokam pantā ca nissoka, hantu sambe pipanino. May the Triple Gem bless you.